Hi, I'm Gabe.
And I'm Kat.
And we're the Ghouls Next Door.
Yeah. Coming to you in year 2019.
Yeah.
Woo!
Represent 19.
Yeah.
It's new year, new us. New you. New everyone.
New everyone.
Don't trust anyone. They're no longer who they said they were before.
They are new.
Yeah.
Do you trust new people? I don't. That's why I don't go outside very often. The world is a scary, scary place.
I'm sorry you feel that way. Well, while
Introversion.
you're stuck inside,
Yes.
in fear of the people outside,
Yes.
why don't you, listener, hop on to Facebook or iTunes or Instagram.
The social medias.
Yeah, and just give the Ghouls a nice like, a nice rating, a subscribe, a comment.
You know. It's safe, I promise.
Yeah.
You won't die, probably. You
Let
can't say
that
how
stay there.
wide my eyes got, but that means that you can trust me.
Yeah,
Like
that's exactly what it means.
New Cat says, like, subscribe, and comment on
or
iTunes.
die. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
friendly reminder from the Ghouls Next Door over here.
Yeah.
Just saying hi, talking to your ears with our mouths,
Yes. Today,
asking you to do stuff.
Yeah, today we're talking about the dangers of social media, the versions of ourselves we put out there, and how sometimes they can stray far from the truth.
Yeah.
Specifically,
Fake news, according to the world.
yeah, when you're fake news on the internet. We're talking about how dangerous it can be when you put your fake life over your real one. When you value the input of strangers and invisible strangers on the internet over, I don't know, real life friends or the ones that actually matter and know who you are.
Yeah, people who like actually love you instead of the fake virtual ones that are like, hey, you're so pretty, or hey, you're so cool. It's like, you can be cool and you can be pretty, but like let your friends in real life tell you that, not strangers.
Yeah. Well, last week we were talking about how changing yourself or placing your self-worth into the hands of others is dangerous.
Yes.
For your self-image and health in regards to body dysmorphia, right?
Yeah, this also applies to social media and kind of like the way you present yourself on the internet and how it's usually the rose-colored glasses version of your actual life.
Yeah.
And how that can be kind of dangerous, especially if it's very far from reality, because then what is real? Who am I?
What is real?
I don't know. Is this Kat? I don't know. Maybe this is Susan. We can't tell anymore.
As previously stated, you need to like and subscribe to us on social medias, please.
Pretty please.
So I can speak from experience at how impactful social media and your reputation is, specifically in how I interact with the Ghouls' social media.
Yeah.
Because I run it pretty much, and it's a job all in itself.
100%.
Like, people need to have respect. Branding is tough. Having content, people will absolutely forget about you if you're not relevant all the time. But I legitimately get really sad and somewhat depressed when I go on there, knowing how much work we put into it, like our whole paranormal activity videos that we made.
Yeah.
And I was like, I totally forgot about those. And then I was showing them off, and I was like, I was up till so late at night making that video, and I was like, we got a few likes, and no one loves us. I don't understand. I put my whole heart and soul in there. And so I get really sad when I'm like, we don't have a lot of followers. But I would say the real pain comes from when I look at other podcasts that might be similar to us.
Yeah,
So,
we're kind of doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Two
It
girls
hurts.
talking about spooky stuff, similar to us, but probably different, who may be perceived as prettier than us or whatever. They get more attention, and I'm like, how? We work so hard.
We work so hard to be
I'm in
funny.
there. I'm down there. So I definitely understand how social media can impact your entire mood, because I get into this low self-esteem moment, and I'm just like, I don't want to do this anymore. I just want to quit, because I put in 100% work, and I'm not saying hey, you're all the worst. How dare you not show your love on the internet to us so we can get sponsorship? Why aren't you groveling at our feet and asking us for more content and giving us money? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I get it. It's really a whole emotional thing that can damage your perception of yourself and take the wind right out of your sails and kind of feel like you want to give up. It's like these imaginary little people who you don't even know that are affecting your feelings so drastically. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah. I wish I understood social media a little bit more. Like, I get it in the stress. Like, I get really excited when like more than 5 people like one of my profile pictures. I'm like, everyone thinks I'm so pretty. I don't have a context of what is a large amount of people who would want to like something of mine. So I get very easily amused. I'm like, oh my God, Gabe, 3 people liked our post on Ghouls Next Door.
I love it.
And you're like, Kat, that's not a lot of people. I'm like, but 3. And you're like, it's not.
And I'm like crying in the corner.
But like 3. It's 3 people that I don't know immediately in my inner circle who have liked something we've said. And I feel like I need to educate myself more on what it means. Because I think everything's really exciting and good. And I have no frame of reference.
Yeah.
But I think that's just because, like, I don't know. I don't know if it's because I'm in space or like what.
Yeah.
What world I live in. What's my reality? Who knows? But like, I definitely get like the counter end of it where it's like you get really excited when random people express an opinion about you, even if it's like people you don't really know that well or like care that much about. And you're like, oh my God, they like me. I'm so popular. This makes up for every day where I wasn't popular because these people like me now. Oh my gosh, emotion.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I get the whole how it can impact you and just like kind of having obsessively to look at it. Like I know if I am at work all day and I look at my phone and I have no notifications, I will feel sad.
Yeah.
I'll be like, the world has forgotten me for 12 whole hours.
I've been in this
What is my life? Who am I? Does anyone know? Does anyone know I'm even here?
Does anyone care what I had for lunch?
No one does! Shouting! Yeah, no, if it's like I don't have a Facebook message or like no one has reached out, I'm like, everyone just probably thinks I'm dead and they don't care. What is life?
Oh my gosh.
It's really dramatic.
Yeah, I agree.
Or you have the opposite end where I'm just like super amused by 2 people being like, hey, you look nice. And I'm like, me?
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah.
What is my existence?
I mistakenly had this like social test almost where I turned my Instagram from private to public. And it was such a weird experiment, like unnecessarily, but it was just all of a sudden I got this influx in people who would like my post and just like comment and stuff. And it was just like obviously strangers, but I did feel like a moment of euphoria and being like, oh my God, I have like 50 likes now as opposed to like the 5 and one was from my mom. And then I got my account hacked and my profile picture was a butt for a minute. And then I had to be like, no, that's not me. That's not my butt. And so I came back and now it's private. Even now I still am always just like, should I just go back to public so that anyone can see me? But that's crazy.
Yeah, anyway. That's like, I mean, I guess for the Ghouls we're public.
Yeah, the Ghouls account.
You're like private one, probably not.
Yeah.
No one needs to know that much about our lives.
No. I would say I get excited with Ghouls when we have like a comment or a like or a share or something from someone we don't actually know because we're a small podcast.
Yeah.
So when it's like a stranger who just happens to like our content, I'm like, whoa, we did it.
Every single time we share an extreme text chain where we're like, oh my God, Gabe, we are famous. Yeah. We are famous. This is our moment. This stranger who definitely is not a famous person and shared our post.
Really at all.
And we are famous. Like we have all caps going back and forth. Famous! Yeah. Quit your job!
Yeah.
We're not going to quit our jobs, and we're probably not famous. We're not famous. Also, one day, you never know.
Yeah, I think if anything, it's kind of saving us that we're not famous yet. If we did have all those like likes and shares, we might absolutely lose it. We don't know how to deal with that.
I don't know how to be famous.
I don't know.
I would question every action I ever do.
Yeah.
I'd be like, is this okay to share?
It's like being royalty.
Forever. Yeah.
Like I have to wave a
I have
particular
to wave
way.
a specific way.
The queen will shut us.
Yeah, facts. We tell you facts. All the facts. Yeah, facts. Still facts. About that spooky stuff. Yeah, spooky stuff.
All right, so we're talking about social media
Yeah.
and what it does to a person, how it can be negatively affected. We're going to be talking about some films that are really awesome. But I wanted to give you a little lesson of the toxicity that is social media.
Yeah, there's a lot of messed up stuff about social media, be it with like adult humans or young humans. More with young humans.
Yep, millennials.
Just like teenagers who already have a messed up sense of self-worth, and then the internet happens.
Yep.
And it just is never, you can't escape it. It's all the time. And I think that's just what makes it very different than the before time where you could go home and there weren't people telling you mean stuff anymore.
Yeah. Yeah,
because they were gone.
Suicides and things from young people and internet cyberbullying. But even without that, it's just the amount of self-worth that we're placing on our social media presence and the likes and comments from people who don't matter.
Yeah. Like, we're not going to stop doing what we're doing because of it. Like, we care about what we're doing.
Clearly.
We just kept going despite multiple people just being like, nah. Well, not by like outright, but like just by not being all up in our
Despite the
stuff.
fact that we do not have the numbers that other similar podcasts do. I don't understand. Were we not pretty enough? Are we not blonde and Californian enough for you, internets?
We're not.
I'm sorry I'm trying to educate you every week instead of just being pretty and laughing about it. I'm sorry.
We stopped laughing as much as per the request of the people we know, not even the internet people. They were like, you laugh at each other a lot. It's like, yeah, because we're in love.
We love each other and it's fun. So I looked up some stuff and BBC had a lot to say on the matter of
Excellent.
social
Tell
media.
me.
And they say that 3 billion people, around 40% of the world's population, use online social media. And we're spending an average of 2 hours every day on these platforms, according to some reports. So with the 2 hours every day on these platforms, that breaks down to around 500,000 tweets and Snapchat photos shared every minute.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a
That's
lot.
wild.
And in this day and age, our self-worth and emotions are directly linked to our social media interactions. So 2 studies involving more than 700 students found that depressive symptoms, such as low mood and feelings of worthlessness and hopelessness, were linked to the quality of online interactions.
Yeah. It's a stressful time.
Yeah. Researchers found higher levels of depressive symptoms among those who reported having more negative interactions. A 2016 study by researchers at Penn State suggested that viewing other people's selfies lowered self-esteem because users compare themselves to photos of people looking their happiest.
Mm-hmm.
However, the people we see online are not the real people.
Yeah.
The real people are sometimes also sad.
Yeah.
But we only take pictures of our happy times.
Yeah, it's very interesting the way that we're able to like filter out any negative emotions. Like, you'll have the rare person who like posts like cries for help or like sad things on social media. But the bulk of what you see is people posting their perfect lunch that they've Instagrammed with filters that like they might not even eat. You don't know. People are crazy. And then you have like the situations where they even Photoshop their photos or like make their skin look flawless, or, you know, you're taking a Snapchat filter and then putting it on Instagram so you look extra wonderful.
Yeah.
And it's just like they aren't the true versions of ourselves. And then we're seeing nothing but flawless, happy people. And you think like, well, why don't I feel this way? Or why don't I have this wonderful lunch? Or like, why?
Clearly this person has perpetual happiness and the perfect life.
And there's
Because
something
that's all
wrong
I'm
with me.
seeing. That's all I see from them. So I'm missing out because I'm sad sometimes.
Yeah.
It makes me think of the Black Mirror episode where your credit is based on your social media interactions. But it also makes me think of the Bean some Being Something episode from Community where they made the game.
Yeah.
And people like rated each other, and it was like insane how like there became like a government system and like a caste system based on what your ratings are on that stupid Bean app.
Yeah, and there's also just like they're trying to initiate that in certain countries too. Like
Yeah.
I've read about in China that they're trying to make like a social based rating system implemented
Same.
like in their society.
Yeah.
And like, have you seen the Black Mirror episode? Like, what are you doing, guys?
Yeah.
It's really stressful.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
it's a whole time.
Yeah, and so and kind of like at the top of that caste system, even just today, without having like an outright established kind of hierarchy, there are people like that. So we have people like social media influencers.
Mm-hmm.
So a film that we're not going to really cover in our film section because there's two others that we wanted to talk about, but this one is also very, very good, and you guys should definitely watch it.
Yes.
Is Ingrid Goes West, which is starring Aubrey Plaza, who plays a crazy fan of a social media influencer, Taylor, and she travels to California to transform her social media perception to become friends with Taylor and essentially become an influencer herself, and reap the benefits from the status. However, she does it awfully. She like becomes this fake person based on the person that Taylor is and tries to like replicate her life, but her real life, her real self is crumbling underneath all that.
Yeah, and then you also just see how the person she's trying to copy like isn't as perfect and flawless as she's portraying. And it's kind of mean.
Yeah.
I mean, there are ways where she's kind of justified in her being mean.
Yeah, because Aubrey's crazy.
She's doing crazy stuff. But like also it's just, you know, you think they have this perfect life and this perfect existence, and that's not always, once you see that that's not real and that's everything you've wanted, I feel like that also has a really negative effect on your like sense of reality and how stuff should be, I guess, or like the path to happiness.
Yeah. You're not that cool, Elizabeth Olsen. No, she's actually probably pretty cool.
Yeah.
But if you're wondering what a social media influencer is, essentially it's someone who is incredibly popular in social media due to their social media persona, who is then given products that they speak about in a roundabout way, advertise the product.
Yeah.
So
there's a way to monetize it.
Yeah. So like once they hit a certain follower level, like clearly they have an audience of people who are in some way or form idolizing and attempting to replicate that person's life and identity, which is creepy, everyone. So if this person says, oh, I got this really beautiful clear skin because of this product, yeah, there's going to be a spike because all of those followers also want that beautiful clear skin.
Yeah.
And these people like will have thousands of followers. So what better way to target those audience than to get someone that they clearly look up to and who I think what is even more important is that they trust them. Like, like if you got a celebrity spokesperson that's like, I endorse this material, whatever, that's cool. But when you get like a celebrity that's more of like an Instagram person, like that person's perceived to on some level to be normal.
Yeah, like they were at least at one point a normal person, and you're seeing their life improve because of whatever thing that they're putting out there.
Yeah.
So it's definitely more trustworthy than you saying like Jennifer Gardner telling me about how I should get this travel tickets credit card thing. You know the things she does on the internet.
Yeah, but then you're more likely to like buy that granola bar or try that tea if, you know, that person who just a few years ago was just like you and literally had their big break, had the American dream essentially happen upon them. So it's like, yeah, I believe them because they're real. They're down to earth. They're not fake like celebrities.
Or at the same time, it's like you're in it enough and the pressure's on you to like maintain this idea of perfection or like this lifestyle that pressure in many ways just becomes like a thing that has this power over you. You don't want to escape it because it's like now how you value yourself or like get money.
Yeah.
And maintain the lifestyle that like you've worked hard to earn, I guess, in some ways by doing this.
Yeah. Some celebrities and influencers are positive and impactful. In the case of Jamila Jamil of The Good Place, she has been using her popularity to take down these influencers who are promoting unsafe and damaging self-care items.
Yeah.
Like detox smoothies and shakes. She has said on the matter, when will these women who are covered in plastic surgery stop telling their followers to drink a laxative to look like them? It's so embarrassing, and it's so encouraging of eating disordered behavior. Be better allies.
Yeah.
And she's like gone at it with like Cardi B and Iggy Azalea, etc., etc.
Yeah.
But she's just one of the heroes in a sea of influencers using their power for financial gain. And at what price? In the case of the films that we watched and we'll be addressing later, possibly lives.
Yeah.
The lives of others.
Or
their
themselves.
own.
Yeah.
Yeah, the risks are high, aren't they always? Death is always the response with us.
Yeah. And honestly, it does end up being that way when you put so much pressure on, like, your self-worth is what is being put out there on social media. Like, if you get likes, you are perceived as good. Your life is good. People want to be like you. So therefore you're doing the right thing. You're on the right path. You're not living up to the expectations of society.
Yeah.
And you get a lot of people who end up, as you kind of said, have that like social media depression, or like because of, not realizing or being at the same level as these other people who have all these likes and are making money off of, being pretty or like doing this and that and the other thing. They're not as good because of it. And, you get that kind of sense of negative self-worth. But then you also have that whole fear of missing out, where you see all your friends taking these wonderful pictures and you're posting them online and you feel like you're really missing out on life. You stayed home, so you're missing out on life. You went to work, so you're just clearly not doing what you need to be doing within your social circle, because you're missing out on all these wonderful opportunities. Or even if it's not in your friend circle, you see someone who has this great house and it's the most beautiful house and you don't have a house like that. So you're missing out on this life that you could have because that person was perceivably normal at one point. Or even celebrities. You see like the Kardashian and Jenner households. You see like their beautiful insides, kind of like updated cribs.
Yeah.
Because it's just like on the internet all the time, where you have this idea of this is what you're missing out on in your life. You can't be satisfied with what you have because there's just all these beautiful things that you are like not achieving.
Yeah.
You have to compare yourself to it. You're not reaching your goals because there's people who are and are doing these great things and are doing better than you. Mm-hmm. And you're not there.
Yeah. And like, God forbid you don't have like a cool Google job, where you have like a nap tank or something. You have a normal job and you have to struggle. And then it's like, oh, what am I doing with my life?
Yeah. And it's just, I feel like as humans, we naturally feel envy. And there's like Facebook envy, where you just like see all these people progressing in their lives, but you don't see the bad days. You don't see like how hard it is to like be married and have kids. Maybe they're not happy in their marriage, but they're posting all these beautiful pictures of them with their new spouse. And you're like, well, crap, it's 2019 and I'm still single and everything hurts. And it's just like you're comparing yourself to people who you don't know what their lives are, but you have this filtered perspective of their happiness. And it just like makes it harder for you to actually realize and see your own happiness. So yeah, Facebook depression, it's a thing. And I definitely say when you see it in young people, when you're kind of creating your own sense of self-worth, it's like a very important time. And what young people are experiencing today is this like very filtered view of their peers. And then just like from a very early age, kind of developing this sense of envy and like these things that they're supposed to want and or should have already. Like you see all those posts about like people who are in their 20s and they have all this, they're millionaires. And you're like, well, crap.
Yeah.
I just barely graduated college. Like, what am I doing with my life? Or you see all these other podcasts that are kind of similar to you, and they're doing really well because they were on a BuzzFeed article, and you're like, well,
Rub it in.
what are we doing with our lives?
Why do I do this every week?
We put in so much time, and it's not for the rewards because we like doing it and because it's really fun and because I get to hang out with my roommate / best friend every week and watch movies and talk about really cool things and learn about stuff.
We learn.
We get to be smart.
Essentially, what you are putting on social media, don't put so much weight onto it and what strangers think of you. Learn to value your life on the outside.
Yeah.
And we're going to go into our fact section or film section to talk about where this influence goes real wrong.
Yeah, where you just take it way too seriously and you murder people because you want Instagram or Twitter followers.
Film. Yeah, films. Yeah, films. We watch some films. Now let's talk about those films. And all that spooky stuff. And all that spooky stuff.
So we watched 2 movies other
did.
than Ingrid Goes West. So we found one that was really nicely timed and named appropriately, given that this is our New Year, New Me, or New You section.
Yeah.
Because
it's called
New Year, New You.
Wow. Yeah. It's so nice that it lines up perfectly with what we're talking about.
Yeah, thank
Thanks,
you,
world.
Hulu, Into the Dark series.
Yeah, it's
Got
fantastic.
some good stuff. I'm really excited for Happy Death Day, which is in February.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
It's long awaited. So New Year, New You centers on a group of old high school friends.
Friends in quotations.
Old high school friends. They were friends at some point in high school.
Yeah.
Who reunite in a house for New Year's Eve. Mm-hmm. They reunite in a house. They reunite in one of the girls' house because she's selling it or something.
Yeah.
And they're forced to confront traumas from their past.
Yeah, and it gets really real pretty quickly, and everything's very uncomfortable in the lead up.
Yeah.
Very uncomfortable indeed.
Yeah. It's very, I would say it started and I was not entirely sure I was going to enjoy it. And I'm not going to say that when it ended, I was like, yeah, this is awesome. This is amazing.
It's fair.
But it was I didn't hate it, which is kind of what I felt like was going to happen when it started. And I was like, oh, God, we have to watch this because it's appropriately named. Got us.
Oh, got us again, internet.
It did it. And of course it got me because it is directed by a woman, Sophia Takal. I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. I apologize. But that definitely got me. And it was just this, it's shot weird.
Yeah.
There's a lot of weirdness happening and like the tone is very weird. But then that later turns and then it's a little more refreshing. And then it's also weird again.
Yeah, I guess what was strange for me, and honestly, maybe this was on purpose. The main character who had the scar, she seemed like real unhinged the entire time.
Yeah.
And I was so stressed out by like every time the screen would just like pan and like freeze on her.
Yeah.
But then, like, towards the end, she starts to be, like, the most sane person.
Yeah.
So I remember just being very confused at the beginning. Like, I understand she's about to do some stuff. Mm-hmm. But why? Why is it so... Like, she seems psychotic. Like, so unhinged, it's wild.
Yeah.
And, like, I knew it was just foreshadowing that she was going to do some stuff. But it was real extra. Like, it was a whole situation.
So dramatic.
Where, like, it just kept flashing back. Or there were all these, like, zoom-ins of her face and her eyes going all weird. And I was just, like, watching it, like...
Long shots of her just looking menacingly.
Yeah, it was just real bizarre. And then she ends up being, like... Spoilers, like, one of the most sane people at the end, like, surviving...
She was still insane.
Well, yeah, but, like, it was different. She seemed almost logical towards the end.
She was trying to survive.
Yeah, but I feel like if you were on the verge of psychotic break, from normal interactions, you don't just get sane while you're murdering people. I just feel like it was very weird to me. It was stressful and strange.
I think her fight or flight kicked in.
Yeah.
And it became impressive. But none of those characters are really likable except for one, and she died.
Yeah,
Spoilers,
it was really
everyone's dead.
sad. She was so nice. She was just so normal and nice and like sweet.
Yeah, just happened to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like what I liked was this whole trend where they take self-care affirmations and platitudes and turn them into something frightening.
Yeah.
Like these brainwashed mantras, like nothing stands between me and my desires, which could sound like a pick-me-up if you said like, and nothing stands between me and my desires. You put that on a sticky note on your mirror every day and you look at it and you're like, yeah. Motivation, I'm going to do it.
Oh,
But
I'm
when
gonna
you
do this
say it
stuff.
really creepy like, and then you stab someone, it's definitely going to change the way that phrase is perceived.
Yeah, no, now I will instantly think murder. If someone says that to me, I'm like, we're not ever being alone together.
Yeah.
Your desires, I stand in the way of them clearly.
And
So-
you're going to get rid of me because nothing can stand there.
Yeah, like I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
I'll step right out of the way. You don't gotta kill me. It's totally fine.
Yeah.
Doing a little like dance away from the crazy person who's like, nothing stands between me and my desires.
Like, you know what? You're cool. You're right. Because I don't, because I left.
yeah, goodbye.
I didn't stand here anymore.
Good luck with your desires. They sound really great.
I'm glad
be
you're
over
going to
here.
get them because they're definitely achievable.
Yeah, just don't murder anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, clear the way. Crazy person over here murdering
Yeah.
people for desires.
There's a really great turn in the narrative because you're led to believe that very clearly our main character is going to do something shady
Yeah.
and dangerous because she is very clearly unhinged. Like, she is
Yeah.
weird. And just like, she's just insane. And then so it's very clear that that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then there's this moment where there's a turn. And it's not when like the victim, in quotations, fights back. It's with one phrase, which was essentially the girl who's like, nothing stands between me and my desires. When she's like, okay, well, how much longer are we going to keep them in the sauna room? And she goes, just a few more hours. We're going to watch a movie and then we'll call the cops and we'll tell them that they fell asleep in there and that's when they died.
Yeah.
And it said just so like nothing. There's
Yeah, like
nothing.
that's not a big. This is just what needs to happen.
Yeah.
This is what's in the way of your desires, and that needs to happen. It's totally cool. It's totally fine.
Yeah, there's just this immediate turn. And what I found kind of interesting about that villain is that she does so well at being very manipulative. Is
Yeah.
very
It's your choice. We don't
yeah.
have to do anything that makes you uncomfortable.
is very culty.
Yeah.
Very like reminiscent of a cult where they put all the power, quote unquote, into your hands. So it's your decision and therefore you are held accountable. So when shit hits the fan and things get dangerous, that's on you because
Yeah.
you had the power all along. You could say no at any time. She says that. She's like, you could say no at any time. Oh, if you don't want them to be in there, we can take them out. And she goes, okay, yeah, I don't want them to be in there. And she goes, well, I would hate for them to get out and ruin your reputation. So it's like, yeah, you chose that. However, you didn't because you're not allowed to have a decision.
Yeah, and like what was really eerie is when she did murder somebody and she's like kind of upset about it. She was like, I am so proud of you right now. You are
Yeah.
just so powerful. Like
Taking your life.
taking your
like,
life into
taking
your
charge.
hands and you're in control and just it's so beautiful to see you be the real you.
Yeah.
And like she
you
hugs
just murdered
her.
your best friend.
And I'm like, why? Why is this so happy? I don't understand. I feel so
Exactly.
conflicted.
And those are the platitudes that you're going to hear on social media. Those are the things that people are saying in their self-help and self-care videos that are very clearly fake.
You are in control of your destiny.
Yeah.
The only thing that stands between you and your desires is you.
Yeah. So that was
Yeah.
done really well.
I agree.
And like what I enjoyed was actually the director's interview with Polygon. She talks about like these themes and the things that she explored that I had questions about anyway. But what she had to say about social media in her film is that they're reflecting their best versions of themselves or curated versions of themselves. And you're living your whole life and you see the ups and the downs and you see your flaws. It seems like people you admire don't have flaws because they're not putting it out there. I think it's psychologically damaging.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, that's what we said too. We're on the same page. But then she also, what I enjoyed was that they did talk to her about the mirrors. Because in this film, there's a million mirrors.
Every 5 seconds, you were looking at somebody look at themselves in the mirror.
Yeah. It's like, I feel like 50% of the time we're looking at them and 50% of the time we're looking at a reflection of them.
Yeah.
There's some really, really good, cool mirror shots, especially ones with mirrors who have like, there's like 3 mirrors in one. So you see like 3 different people's faces.
Yeah.
Or you see like a skewed version of someone's face. Like no one has that many mirrors. A mirror gets punched.
That does
There's
happen.
too. It's very, very on the nose.
Yeah.
Look at us. Look at ourselves. They look at how involved they are with their own faces. Yeah. So she had to say this about the mirrors in the film. The cinematographer and I talked a lot about using mirrors. We found a great location that had so many mirrors, and our production designer added all these mirrors. It was this idea of reflecting our real selves and reflecting who we are on social media. But it was also pointing out a duality. That was something I really wanted to play with. So, yeah.
Yeah.
She just...
Mirrors on mirrors.
It was too many. It was very on the nose. I
Yeah.
didn't enjoy that. I was like, I get it. Like, if it was like a few, or if you did like cool shots like you did, but they were just everywhere.
We were literally everywhere. Everything was in a mirror. Everything was... I did enjoy, spoilers, like the murder scene where you could see it through the mirror. That
Yeah.
was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where like the friend was getting stabbed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, there was a lot. I mean, there was some interesting stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
I really enjoyed the ending, in that our hero has murdered the villain, and the villain was this social media influencer who kind of hit it big and was going to be in movies and had sex with Elon Musk and, you know, all this other stuff. So she was living this high life, and they thought she didn't deserve that because she tortured kids in high school, because that's what snotty teenagers do. And so she believes that wholeheartedly, yet at the end, instead of like ruining her reputation, she keeps the reputation intact so that she can ride on its coattails. So she becomes a new social media influencer who was the friend of this befallen social media influencer, and now she has to live on in her image. Yeah. She learned nothing.
Yeah, absolutely nothing. It was interesting. I mean, it just... I think what was really interesting about both movies that we watched is like none of the characters are really redeemable in any way except for one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so the other movie that we watched is called Tragedy Girls from 2017. So both of these are very recent because social media is very recent.
And we're just keeping up with the times.
So Tragedy Girls is about best friends Sadie and Michaela, who are on a mission to boost their social media fandom as amateur crime reporters, hot on the trail of a deranged local serial killer. After they manage to capture the killer and secretly hold him hostage, they realize the best way to get scoops on future victims would be to, you know, murder people themselves.
Yeah, you know.
As the Tragedy Girls become an overnight sensation and panic grips their small town, can their friendship survive the strain of national stardom? Will they get caught, and will their accounts get verified?
Yeah.
Which is very important.
Yeah,
honestly.
you know. I really enjoyed this film more than I think the first one.
Yeah.
But one thing that was just really interesting about it is that, like, they were terrible people. And they were portraying themselves as these good people. And I guess that was really interesting. And that, like, they were portraying themselves as, like, these, like, saviors or, like, people who were, like, I guess better than they actually were. And, like, the people who were becoming infatuated with them saw that, too. And that's what ended up in their, like, demise.
Yeah.
So you had the boyfriend who, like, did not really see her, thought she was this wonderful, like, redeeming, innocent creature. And then turns out, spoilers.
She's a sociopath.
She was a complete sociopath who murdered your own mom and then murdered you and then all your friends.
Yeah, the entire
Crazy.
town worth of children. Yeah, like, for me, I really enjoyed them. I really liked this film. I think they were very young. Like they were written young. So this wasn't a John Green film or book where they write smart teenagers who speak prose when they talk about conflicts. Like these were clearly teenage girls.
Yeah.
Who
in like their worst form.
Exactly. Like they're definitely obsessed with social media. They're taking selfies all the time. They're clearly have no
Snarky
emotion
and
or
rude. Yeah.
they have no like understanding of mourning and are sociopaths. So it's very clear that that's the case, and that they're like in the way that they're learning. So the first 2 murders that they commit are ruled as accidents, and so then their third one is very, very, very gruesome. And there's a really funny part where they're like cutting up this girl, and this guy walks in, the like janitor, and he does not see them, and then he just like turns off the light. It was hilarious.
Yeah. Which, fun fact, he is the murderer in spoilers, Too Many Cooks.
Oh,
Which is just like really fun because he is super scary in Too Many Cooks. And it was just really fun to see him in a not murdery role.
yeah.
So, yeah.
He's just a janitor who
He's
you
just
would think
hanging
is
out.
a
Doesn't even
murderer.
say anything, I don't think. He's just, minding his own business.
Yeah. What I really enjoyed is spoilers.
We're being really good about this. New year, new us.
Yeah, go ahead if you do not want the ending spoiled. But essentially, there's this whole part where one of the main girls is marked a hero. And then it seems like it's going to be one of those cliche movies where she realizes this whole time they've been bad and wrong, and she's turned over a new leaf, and now she has a boyfriend, and she's living this great life. And at the end, the other one's like, I'm going to get revenge because you deserted me and you got all the attention and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And then the murderer is like, okay, like the OG murderer is like, all right, I'll go kill her. And she's like, she's off limits. That's my best friend. And it just becomes this thing where it's like, no, this whole time, don't you realize that like, I'm just trying to get you back because you took the wrong turn. And then she's like, yeah.
Yeah, totally for it. Let me just murder this guy I've been dating. No big deal. And the murderer, the real murderer.
Yeah.
We'll just blame him. It's totally cool.
I loved it. I loved that she ran to her and was like, I love you, and like hugs her, and that they're best friends, because it was very clear the whole time that she was uncomfortable in this like
new
fake life of being good, and like wasn't happy. She's not amused by this boyfriend. She hates it. In any other movie, that would have made perfect sense. Because it's like, oh, she's turned over a new leaf. She's got the friend.
No,
that's
she was
now her
the
boyfriend.
OG sociopath. Like,
Yeah,
she was the
yeah.
starter sociopath.
Though all this time we thought it was the other girl, but nope, it was her. And I really, really loved the ending. It didn't make any sense how they got away with it, but it was a good ending, and I thought it was great. I love it when villains win.
Yeah.
Because it never happens.
And also it's just like, it was cool to like see how like not redeemable they were in any way, but like at the same time you were still somehow rooting for them. It was very confusing internally, like for ourselves.
Yeah, it was also like sad. There's like people in there who die where you're like, oh my god, this is like, so
why?
sad.
This is awful. Why is this what we wanted? I don't understand why.
Yeah.
That was a nice dad. He wasn't good at his job, but he didn't need his son and wife to be dead now. Like,
Or Craig Robinson, he's just a nice guy. He's like he's a firefighter trying to protect the kids in the town, getting buffed.
They extra murdered him. Yeah. It was sad. And then like the teacher was sad. It was the whole thing.
Yeah.
Emotions.
What I enjoyed was this comedy. It was a horror comedy, and I thought it was done really, really well. For example, when one of their first victims, spoilers, had previously dated one of our main characters, Michaela.
Yeah.
And so she like is stabbing him, and they're trying to stab him so much, and he's just like, he is also a crime reporter, blogger, who's more important than them, has more followers. And I definitely was like,
hey, Ghoul,
I definitely I want to do this to our lookalike.
Ah, we're coming for you.
Yeah.
Just kidding. No, we're not.
You don't know. Look behind you. Yeah. So she's like stabbing him, and he looks at her and he's like, if I were to be murdered, I'm so glad that it's from you.
Yeah.
Like, because that's like, because they're kids, they're desensitized. That's what social media and the world does to you. And then she like ends up like kissing him, but he's like dead now.
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
It was ridiculous. It definitely was. Like, it was, it was great. It was a great moment in the movie where I was like, I see what you're doing. This is good.
It was really, and there's like a part where they're trying to be sneaky and they're wearing like masks and hoodies and black pants. And then Michaela's found out because she has her shoes on that are like red Converse.
Yeah, they're like kind of unique.
Yeah, so it's like, oh, of course they know it's you, dum.
And he's like, Michaela? And she's like, God,
Dang it.
Why didn't you wear different shoes?
Yeah, we're supposed
Change
to
your
be in
shoes.
uniform.
We're murdering people. Common sense, guys.
Yeah. It really, really, really was refreshing. And for me, this felt like this was teenage horror comedy feminist film in a way that was outstandingly better than Jennifer's Body.
Yeah, at no point were they possessed by demons. They were just regular sociopathic women.
Already messed up. And I loved and cherished their friendship in a way that I never did with Needy and Jennifer.
Yeah, that's true.
They were fake. They weren't real teenagers. Like, no one believes that Megan Fox and Amanda Seyfried are teenagers in Jennifer's Body. They're very clearly
in their 20s.
Adults.
Yeah.
And with this, it's like, no, these are two young girls. I'm pretty sure, these are young girls who are teenagers who are replicating a very real, like, emotive and relatable teenage girl relationship.
Yeah.
Like, it's very like, you changed ever since you started seeing this boy. And like, if you took that conversation and put it on any other teenage drama, it would make sense. But they took that and put it on, now you don't murder with me anymore. What, you're too good? You used to be a murderer. You were the first murderer, and now you're not murdering anymore.
And
You've
it's like,
changed.
we used to murder together, and now we can't. And it's all your fault. Why are you different?
We were such a great team. And now you're like, what, normal? And you don't even have blood on your hands anymore?
Like, what? That's crazy.
Yeah. So, 10 out of 10. I enjoyed it.
It was great.
Love the ending. Loved it. It was a fun ride. It was cute.
Yeah. It was done right. Like, it was very much done right. There wasn't a part of it where I was like, oh, I wish that went different. No, it was great.
Yeah.
It was a great time.
Beautiful.
Yeah, feelings. Yeah, I said feelings. Let's talk about feelings. Okay. And all that spooky stuff. I love spooky stuff.
Okay, so if you liked it, it's #blast. And if you didn't like it, negative review, it is nothing stands between me and my desires.
But you gotta say it creepy like.
Yeah, because if you say like nothing stands between me and my desires, it sounds motivational and like you're gonna get stuff done.
We're talking about.
We want murder.
We're gonna talk about murder. So nothing stands between me and my desires.
Yeah. So how do we feel about
Breathing.
social media and its influence and its influencers and depression and why no one follows us on Instagram?
I'm gonna go with nothing stands between me and my desires, because we're gonna get our likes up, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, it stinks to like. It's great to be in this kind of platform where it's important, but I definitely like. I love making this podcast. But it like stinks that like it's just not more loved.
Yeah.
In the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we put a lot of time and energy into it, and it's just great. And it's definitely worth it either way, but it'd just be really cool if we got acknowledgement.
Yeah, I think there's good and bad things about social media. With social media, you can get information out there a lot faster. You can spread your word and get popular in ways that we couldn't previously.
Very true.
And so with that, I think it's great. What I think
talk
is
to people all the time.
Nothing stands between me and my desires is essentially this negative view. And to understand that, like, yeah, you're going to get sad because sometimes you're going to look at things and obviously they're skewed. And yeah, I'd love to have a bunch of money, but I also wouldn't want to be the, like, mule for some company that I don't believe in. Yeah. You know, like if it's something that I believed in, yeah, but I'm not going to like advertise something I don't care about. And that actually hasn't benefited me in any way. Yeah. Unless it was like a podcast advertiser.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, that does benefit me in this very specific way. Look at that. What? Crazy.
Yeah. I mean, if ZipRecruiter was like, put this in front of your episode, I'd be like, okay.
Yeah, no problem.
But that's different than if I was like, I use this cream and now I don't know why anyone would want
ghosts
to look
don't
like my
haunt
face.
Me now.
But yeah.
It's crazy.
This is the haunt
This ghost
juice.
repellent cream.
The anti-haunt juice. You have to drink it and you won't be haunted. Now
Why
I
don't
just
we
wanna
make these
that.
things? Clearly, that's our calling. It's
Yeah.
our next step.
Exactly. And so for me, what I would say is just remember that what you're seeing is being filtered. It, whether literally with like a Snapchat filter, Instagram filter, whatever, or it's just that you're only going to see the good stuff. No one is
Yeah.
posting the bad stuff on the internet.
Or it's like a
Or if
skewed
they are, it's
version of the
sad.
bad stuff sometimes, even
Yeah.
where it's like when she was trying to get her to confess and like she was like, this happened. Like it's like when you use sad stories in a like manipulative way. So like
Yeah.
people who record themselves doing good acts or like
Yeah.
basically
It doesn't
like
count.
yeah, where basically you're manipulating someone who's in actual
Yeah.
pain or like in a negative situation for your own benefit. It's basically like taking away the goodness of it. You're making the world think you're a good person and you're not a good person.
Pixar didn't happen. If you do a good deed in the woods and no one sees it, do you still get good karma?
It's like, let's
actually
post a
more.
Facebook status every time you donate to a homeless person or you give them coffee or
my
something. And it's
God.
like, no, that doesn't make it a good thing. Just
Yeah.
do that and don't tell anybody and you feel just as good inside.
Yeah. Or if you don't, maybe you should reevaluate yourself.
Yeah.
All right. So how about the films?
Hashtag blessed.
Hashtag blast.
Blessed.
Yeah.
We're so blessed.
Yeah. I think it's really kind of cute that New Year, New You came out at the same time that we had already started establishing this. Like we planned ahead of time.
Yeah.
And I was like, what are we going to do? And then I Googled like New Year, New You horror movies. And literally one of that title pops up. And I'm like, well,
it's fate.
guess what? We're talking about social
Hashtag
media.
blessed. We're fated to watch this. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
And then I stumbled upon Tragedy Girls. And I'm really sad that this doesn't have as much attention as it should have. Because it is
was
very
really
good.
good. And yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. And that like it was a fantastic movie. And like I feel like we watched a few of those lately where I was
Yeah.
like, why isn't this just a thing?
Yeah.
I felt that way about American Mary.
Yep.
I felt that way about Tragedy Girls. It's just like, why is this not? I feel that way about the Ghouls Next Door.
Yeah.
It's like, why aren't these things getting the necessary
to her?
attention that they need because they're great and they're just doing it. And it's like one day, man.
Imagine how much attention we get if like all competing ghoul podcasts died.
And we were just live tweeting,
We were just like, oh, that's
documenting
so
these
weird.
events. It's crazy.
All that's left is such a weird phenomenon.
We're the only girls who are ghouls and talking about spooky stuff.
That's
Crazy.
weird. No more ghosts. no more
Hashtag
ghouls.
blessed. We weren't murdered.
What
Crazy.
coincidence.
What?
Wow.
Okay, what if that happens and then we're like,
Oh yeah, guys. All right, look.
We're real
Disclaimer.
serious kidding.
Disclaimer. No, we don't want them to die. We're kidding.
we want them
think
to
they're
live
great
long
people
lives.
too, and we think it's awesome, and I want them to
We
share
love
their
that they talk
secrets.
spooky stuff too, because that means
Yeah.
that's just more people talking spooky stuff.
Everyone talks spook.
Spook, spook, spook.
Yeah, I thought these films are great. They're refreshing, and I really, really want to be these girls, the Tragedy Girls, for Halloween.
I'm
No
with
one's
it.
gonna get it because
No
no
one.
one's watched it, but I'm gonna force everyone I know to watch it. So
Yeah.
at least 5 people.
Beauty's in the eye of the beholder. So
Yeah, we already learned this lesson.
things you learn. Hashtag blessed.
Hashtag blessed.
So great.
Well, I think we're hashtag blessed to
Every
have
day.
the Ghoul Scouts that we do have, the followers that we
Yeah.
do have. But do be sure to like and comment on iTunes because for some reason that matters.
it does.
And does things for us. So, I mean, I would appreciate it if you did, at the very least, doing that.
Yeah,
and, like,
please.
check out our Instagram. I do work really hard on
please.
it. I stopped putting our face on it so much, but, because it's, like, hard to keep up with our faces. But we do have a live show coming up, and so
Yeah,
you'll
go
probably see that
listen.
live
That's
streamed.
great.
But we love you, and,
We do.
you know, be safe out there in social media.
Yeah.
Follow us, and we'll follow you back.
Nothing stands between you and
Follow
your
for
desire.
follow. Nothing stands between you and your desires. If your desire is to get more ghoul content, let me tell you something.
Ah.
We got you covered.
Whoa. Hashtag bless.
Hashtag don't get married.
They'll eat your kids.
Okay, bye.
Bye.